The Shawnee had a warrior named Whoppy, or White Hawk, who lived in the forest alone. He liked animals and birds. He was tall, strong, and one of the most well-known hunters of his tribe. He liked the forest. For him, it held all the spirit that lived within man. Whoppy traveled through the forest finding new animals. One day Whoppy traveled farther than he had before. There, beyond the forest, he saw a clearing, and when he walked into it, he found a perfect circle. He studied the circle, and noticed that it had been made of footprints. The prints, however, did not leave the circle. There were none coming into the circle, and none going out. Whoppy thought this strange. That night Whoppy slept in the forest near the clearing. He heard music in the night, and he looked up, and descending from the sky was a basket filled with 12 beautiful sisters. They were the daughters of the Star Chief, and the basket was their way of coming down and going up to the sky. Whoppy watched the basket, as it touched the ground, and the sisters got out and began to dance. They had a round magic ring which one of them hit with a stick, making the sound of a drum. Whoppy admired these women. One especially caught his attention. It was the youngest daughter of the Star Chief. She had a round face that shone in happiness. Her smile, her eyes, her round cheeks reflected the joy she felt in her heart as she danced. Whoppy could not watch any longer, and he ran out of the forest to the woman. They saw him, and the women jumped back into the basket and were lifted out of his reach by the time he got to the circle. Whoppy watched them. He felt great remorse for scaring them away. He decided to wait until the next night. The music woke him as he lay waiting. He looked up, and the basket came down to the circle. The women were cautious. Whoppy did not move. The women danced and danced, laughing and beating on the ring. Whoppy thought of how he could get closer to the youngest sister, and so he changed into an opossum. He scurried near to the edge of the forest, then turned with his tail towards the sisters and back to them. The sisters laughed. "Look at the opossum. He has come to show us a new game." The youngest sister called out, "No, let's get out of here. It is a trick." The sisters climbed to the basket and disappeared. Whoppy returned to his own shape and walked back home. The next night he returned to his hiding place in the forest. On the way he came across an old stump. He kicked it, and out came a handful of mice. Whoppy called to them. Then he carried the mice-filled stump to the sisters' dancing circle, and turned into a mouse himself. The sisters descended and saw the stump. "Look," said one, "I don't remember that stump. What is it doing there?" Another went to the stump and started hitting it as the mice ran for their lives. The sisters grabbed the sticks and killed all the mice except for one. The youngest sister chased it, and as she was ready to hit the mouse with a stick, it changed into Whoppy. He grabbed her and did not let go. The other sisters jumped into the basket and rose up into the sky, leaving their youngest sister behind. Whoppy took his woman home. He tried to make her happy. He missed that glow of joy that she had on her face when she danced, and now she did not dance at all. In time, the woman gave birth to a boy. She asked if she could return to her father and show him the sun. Whoppy felt for his woman, for sadness was constantly in her. He took her to the place of the circle in the clearing, and let her get into the basket with the sun, and watched as she ascended into the sky. Whoppy went back to the circle every night. His woman did not return. He felt a sadness entering into his spirit, and he missed his woman, and hurt with the pain of not seeing his son. As time went by, Whoppy stopped going to the circle. He stayed home and sang of his song and of his woman. Whoppy's woman played with her sisters up in the sky. She taught the boy of her own father's ways. But when the son grew to resemble Whoppy, she remembered her man. She went to her father and asked him if there was a way she could bring Whoppy up to live with them. The Star Chief told her that if her man could bring a piece of every animal that lived in the forest with him, he could live in the sky. Whoppy's woman left her son with her sisters and came down in the basket. She went to Whoppy and told him of his testing. Whoppy spent 4 days gathering bits and pieces of the mammals, birds, and snakes that lived in the forest. On the night of the 4th day he went to the circle. The basket was lowered, and he was lifted up to Star Chief's home. There he saw his son. The Star Chief told all the people to pick part of an animal, bird, or snake from the basket. Some chose a foot, some a wing, some a tail, and some a paw. And those who chose tails or paws were changed into animals or snakes and ran away. The others turned into birds and flew away. Whoppy chose a white hawk's feather. His woman and son did the same, and they spread their wings and descended with the other birds to the earth. their families still living in the forest today.